start. 1, 2, ready.
What's good, YouTubeites?
Man, what a way to start, man. I really get you going, like, you just want to start. Get on the mic and start howling, I tell you.
Hell yeah, just got to show off my Bruce Lee DJ
Go
shirt.
ahead, I kick ass, man. That's badass.
Oh, sorry we're late, guys. It creeped up on me. I had a little drink. I had a little smoke earlier today. If
So
you didn't know,
basically you're high and drunk.
Pretty much, yeah, man. It's me and my girlfriend's 18th anniversary today.
Oh, happy anniversary, buddy. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, so right after this, we're going to go see, have dinner and a movie. We're going to go see The Conjuring. So she was nice enough to let me do this show and not berate me. What's going on, everybody? This is Lords of the Long Box, or excuse me, Letters from the Long Box, but not really. This is a throw off. There are no letters today. Shock, shock, shock. This is purely a long-term spec list. And you know what? We'll try to answer some of your questions. So we'll get you right, started away. But this show is sponsored by our buddies over at KRScomics.com. Use discount code LOTLB to get 15% off any KRS Comics exclusives. Hopefully you didn't miss out on this the gorgeous Natalie Sanders variant that dropped on last week. for the Department of Truth. Absolutely gorgeous. And you know, hopefully you got it. And yeah, I'm here. I'm coherent. Shit, man, I can do this. Come on, shit. I've driven drunk with one eye open and the cig hanging out my mouth with the windows all rolled down. I can do this.
I'm okay, officer. I can fucking
Yeah.
drive.
So, how you doing, Mikey?
I'm doing great. I got a question for all the chatters there, and for you, T-VO. Something different this time. Like everybody asks me questions, so I got a question for all of you. If you had the choice, let's say you saw a genie, and a genie gave you a choice. Would you rather be rich or famous? What would you choose?
Oh.
You can only choose one: rich or famous.
I'd rather be rich.
Okay.
Because there's famous people that have gone broke because they didn't know how to spend their money.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true. Yep. That is true.
Look at all the athletes who squandered all their money. You know what I mean? So shout out to Larry Wilson for the $4.99 super sticker, man. I really appreciate that, man.
Awesome.
Yeah. And like, looks like everybody in there is like, yeah, rich, fuck fame.
Because everybody's to go to eBay and buy a comic book is why.
Exactly. Nobody gives a shit. They're like rich so I can buy comics. They don't care about... No, nobody cares about being an influencer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have never, ever referred to myself as an influencer or content provider. I just, those words to me don't ring. I'm just a dude playing a dude, giving you some other dudes who talks to a dude, who knows about some comic book dudes, and we give you the stuff so you get it. No Patreon, no nothing, man. So that's the way we roll, man. I'm a collector like everybody else, and when we get these early specs, we give it to you guys for free, so you guys can go out and get them. But I'm going to tell you right now, man, since this list is interesting because we've been talking about it for so long.
Yeah.
A lot of these books are already pricing out.
Yeah.
Like, I was shocked to see, like, oh my God, really? This book is already up to this? But there's some other little hidden gems in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mikey, why don't you explain exactly what is on this list?
Yeah, so this is the long-term speculation list for the Blade franchise. So not just the first one, it's a franchise in general. These are the characters that Marvel Studios personnel are researching so they can develop them for the inclusion in the possible 3 films that they have coming out.
Okay, so this is a long-term spec list, but now we call it a research list. And if you watched last week's episode, Mikey explained that Kevin Feige says, hey, I want to do these characters, and he gives them to his research staff, and they look up these characters in the comics and with their stories and their backlines, and that's why, you know, it's good to have this, because it's not just like, hey, I want to use this character. Who cares what they did in the comics? So this is Marvel's way of saying, hey, this is what they did in the comics. So this is the long-term spec list for the Blade film franchise, meaning they wholeheartedly plan on making at least a trilogy, because that's how popular Blade is. And this isn't, you know, spilling out over into Midnight Suns or anything else. Quite possibly it could, though, because, you know, like we've been... How long we've been talking about this, Mikey? For 2 years now, about the Marvel supernatural horror universe that was ill-fated on Hulu at first, and now in Feige we trust.
Yeah, 2 years, 2.5 years. It's been a while since we.
I mean, for all our longtime friends, they've been buying these up anyways for a while on the cheap. So now they're no longer cheaper, and then other websites have been pulling it up, saying, you know, random stuff like. This character is being developed. I don't know for what. I don't know what for when. I don't know if it's going to come, but it's coming. So, like, it's like, really? You paid a Patreon for that? But anyway, let's get right to it. This is the long-term spec list for the Blade movie franchise. Let me say, shout out to everybody in the live chat. Let me get right to it, man. Some of these characters, you know, some of them are kind of obscure, but if you're in the let me just say this, if you're into vampires, werewolves, and things of that nature, and the people that hunt them, you're gonna dig this list, I think. You know what I mean? So have your eBay windows open, you know what I'm saying, while we go through this list, and let's get right to it.
Yeah, some of you may have become rich from Thrawn being on the LTS a couple of
That's
years
right.
ago.
When we dropped Thrawn, Mara Jade, so and Ahsoka Tano we did, so you're welcome. No, I'm just kidding. First up on the list, what do we got, Mike?
Rachel Von Helsing.
Yeah, so this is obviously, I think she's the great granddaughter or daughter of, well, here's the interesting thing about Van Helsing. It's not a property that belongs to Marvel or anybody. I mean, it actually started in like the late 1800s. Abraham Van Helsing, part of the early vampire books or vampire novels, excuse me. So Van Helsing has been around for a while. There's a Van Helsing TV show. There was that crazy Hugh Jackman Van Helsing movie. If you remember that. But
God.
so she also followed in the footsteps and she became a vampire hunter. The first appearance is Tomb of Dracula, number 3. Interesting enough, spoiler alert, she got killed when she became a vampire. She got bitten and became a vampire, and then she said, I don't want to be a vampire, please kill me. And I think she had Blade killed her. And this was in the 90s run or early 2000s run. So, but, it doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to be killed off in the thing, because when you have a bunch of vampires and you just have Blade needs a team, right? I mean, if you remember the really bad Blade 3 with our man Ryan Reynolds, who played what was he? He played Hannibal, right? I think that was the name of his character. Yeah, so you got to have a team of people to help you fight vampires.
It'd be hilarious if Blade runs into Deadpool, right?
Right? I wonder if that could be turned into a vampire. That is an interesting thought. I may want to think about that. All right, so first one.
Looking at this cover, I'm getting a Buffy the Vampire Slayer vibe from this.
Yeah, there's some great covers of Tomb of Dracula. For the longest time, nobody cared about Tomb of Dracula books, right? But Tomb of Dracula 10 was really the only one. When we started talking about, hey, they're going to be doing live action Dracula, people started picking up, Tomb of Dracula number 1 and some other books. I will tell you this: if you get outpriced out of Tomb of Dracula, well, we'll talk about that later on, because that's going to go somewhere else. All right. So Rachel Van Helsing, first appearance, Tomb of Dracula number 3. What do we got up next, Mikey?
I don't even have that. I have to get that myself. Like, I look like a pretty cool cover there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. Count von Stodd.
Count von Stodd is an interesting character. First appearance is Wolverine vs. Blade Special Volume number 1. I do believe he was a mutant that became a vampire.
Oh, there's a twist there.
Very interesting. Yeah. And it's a super dope cover. I mean,
I love that cover.
I mean, that's like, if you notice, there was a run, I forgot which run it was, and people in the live chat can correct me or tell me which one it was, where they had like it was like an X-Men versus the vampires thing. Remember, they had turned all the X-Men into vampire. It was like a crossover event in Marvel where Dracula really was like, you know what, I'm going to start taking over things, and some of the X-Men became vampires, which was an interesting run. So you want to look into that one too. So this is a dope cover. So Count von Stodd. First appearance, Wolverine vs. Blade, the Wolverine vs. Blade special, volume 1. I don't think there was another volume, but anyway, it's a number 1 issue. Go out and get that, baby. It's bad. First of all, it's just a dope cover.
Yeah, I see a what if potential here, right? What if Wolverine became a vampire?
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, this one we've been talking about for a long time. And it's on here because, they're finally going to do it, even though she's already appeared, kind of. Well, what do we have?
Lilith Drake.
There you go. Lilith Drake is also known as the daughter of Dracula. First appearance is Giant Size Chillers, featuring The Cursed Dracula number 1. This book has been picking up a lot lately, and this book is hard nut to crack in a high grade. I've always been high in this book. I've been telling people to get it. It's always been a great book. Now, the character is different from the No, I was for some reason I was thinking Satana on
Hellstrom.
Yeah, but I do believe there is another Lilith on the other ones. But you notice Blade isn't on here. But obviously you don't know. Fun fact in the live chat: first one to name Blade's government name gets a Marvel No Prize. Let's see who knows it. No Googling.
Wow,
no Googling. What is Blade's real name? Come on. I don't know if they ever even said it in the movies, to be honest with you. So
I don't think he did. Maybe they just forgot for a while.
We'll see who gets Blade's name. Somebody is probably going to Google it, but it's a pretty interesting name because it's so vanilla. It's then again, most comic book characters from 60s, 70s is always like Johnny Storm, Peter Parker, Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne. They're all this boring stuff. All right, so Lilith Drake, first appearance, giant-sized chillers. Number 1, Wesley Snipes. Don't call me Wave. You're there. Eric Brooks actually, yeah, it's Eric Brooks. So who got it first? Ron got it first. Great. There you go. Marvel No Prize is on the way. Send me your information and we'll send you a Marvel No Prize to your AOL account. All right. Next up is a book that's been spec'd on. And it's been on our Cover Price Top 10, full disclosure. Some other site did it, but they kind of spec'd it in a different direction. So what do you know about this one?
Blackout. And I have this book.
Yeah.
I bought this book when it first came out.
So the spec from some this website that steals our specs a lot of times said that Blackout was going to be the main baddie in the Midnight Suns. What are you hearing about Blackout? Is he just going to be a one and done? Is he just going to be the villain?
I'm hearing one and done for Blade. What I keep hearing about for Midnight Suns is which is another spec book, Marvel Zombies.
Oh.
When they get together, for some real, big group of people, not just one villain. So,
all right, yeah, because this book picked up steam because of a website was saying that the Blackout was going to be the main baddie in the Midnight Suns, and it just seems kind of odd that Blackout would be the big baddie for the Midnight Suns, which I guess it could happen, but he's going to be part of the Blade franchise. So there you go. I mean, Blade, Midnight Suns, they spill over to each other, but now we're getting confirmation. So this book, if you haven't gotten it, you better get it because, once it came up on the Cover Price Top 10, then everybody started snatching it up. This is a very, very rare, unknown book that not many people know about. What is it?
Oh, you mean Ghost Rider?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I never heard of this before.
Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze is going to be in Blade. So how are they going to do that story? Have you heard anything yet?
I heard that, what the last thing I heard about almost a year ago was that it was Mephisto that was going to turn him into Ghost Rider. That'll be the demonic entity that he makes a deal with. Not sure if they're going to change that now. I mean, we'll see where it goes. But it's definitely that Johnny Blaze will be the first Ghost Rider to show up in the MCU.
And also, obviously I think it's going to be one of those classic, they meet up, they fight each other, and then they become allies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
That is like the prototypical like comic book. Two heroes meet up and then they fight and they realize, hey, we shouldn't be fighting, and they end up, and Ghost Rider and Blade, part of the Midnight Suns. That is a pretty powerful team right there. So Zathros and all these other characters, I don't know if they would do Zathros, you know what I mean? Because Mephisto's name has been everywhere. I think I saw it on CNN at one point. It's the Mephisto spec has been everywhere. So I think Marvel will be like, you know what? We got the name out there, so people are gonna know who Mephisto is. Nobody's gonna know who Zathros is. So actually, I do believe there was a retcon where, well, it wasn't a really retcon. Mephisto basically took over Zathros, kicked him out, and became the ruler of Hell. So there's that. We already got a question. You know, we'll answer your question since it's a long-term spec about horror and you're asking about Westerns, but let's see. Totally unrelated, but thank you for the $5 super chat, Six Face Comics. With the upcoming Westerns directions you have discussed, will the original Cowboy Ghost Rider be coming?
Yes.
Yes. We had that on a long-term spec, Six Face Comics. And it was part of this time travel thing about the Avengers going back into the Old West. And it's in the comics. So there's already precedent there. So, you know, there's already a story that they have that. So there you go.
My question is this for that. Like, okay, the Western Ghost Rider actually appeared with a different comic book company. I think Dick Ayers created him for can't remember the name of the company now. Then Marvel took the same character in the 60s, and
yeah, and they made him more of a ghost. The original Ghost Rider was just a regular person, but the Marvel kind of made him like this phantom, cowboy,
Phantom Rider.
And you can see him in his all white suit and everything. That book has been picking up a lot of steam.
But which one is considered the real first appearance though? Because the one from the 50s is the same character. I think they had the same name even.
Yeah, I think from what? I want to say Atlas Comics.
I think it was Magazine Enterprises or something like that. It was ME. I think it was. Just going on memory here.
Well, I think they called him Phantom Rider.
They called him, okay, if I recall correctly, he was Ghost Rider in the 50s, and then he became Knight Rider, I believe it was. But there were connotations with the KKK.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
With Knight Rider, and he's wearing all white, so it's like, no, we can't. We have to change his name. And they changed him to Phantom Rider, I think. And then, of course, he can't have two Ghost Rider names, so anyway.
Yeah, we gotta have a crossover, Knight Rider and Ghost Rider. You know what I mean? And they ride along in his Trans Am and in his motorcycle. Boom, make it happen. You know Hasselhoff would be down for
Reyes.
Yeah. So Johnny Reyes, the Ghost Rider, the Johnny Blaze version will first appear. But you know what? Get all the Ghost Riders because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of lore with the Ghost Riders and all the different iterations. Alejandro Jones, Robbie Reyes, Danny Ketch. There's going to be a bunch of them. So, all right. Next up is, we kind of alluded to werewolves earlier. And if you're going to talk about werewolves, you're only going to talk about this one. What is it?
Yeah, Jack Russell. With a name like that, right?
Yeah. Let's name a werewolf after a breed of dog. First appearance, Marvel Spotlight number 2. Don't look at the graphic. It says number 5. It's Marvel Spotlight number 2. Interesting enough, Werewolf by Night number 1 has a very similar cover to this Marvel Spotlight Werewolf by Night. And werewolves are coming, man. Because I can see... Are you hearing anything about... is there going to be a vampires versus... You know how what was that movie franchise that? With
God, I know what you're talking about.
The Lycans versus the vampires.
I remember seeing a trailer for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's been like the eternal fight forever, and I think that would make a great movie or series or something where you have the werewolves fighting the vampires. You know what I mean? That would be awesome. Underworld. That's
Underworld. That's the title. Yeah. Okay. I never saw that trailer for it years ago.
Yeah, I enjoyed those Underworld movies, man. She is so hot. Oh, my God. All right, so Jack Russell, first appearance, Marvel Spotlight number 2, Werewolf by Night. That Marvel Spotlight series, all those anthology series have some great issues in there if you can find.
They're going through those, man, to see what they can use
Marvel
in the future.
Spotlight, Marvel Premiere, Marvel Presents, Marvel Preview, all of them, man. Not Marvel Preview is the one with the fake Miles Morales, the OG Marvel Preview, and you just may see that.
Yeah, the magazine with it. Yeah, Punisher didn't the Punisher appear in there, and also.
Yeah. You may just see one later. All right, next up is you can't have a Blade long-term spec without this dude.
Yeah, you gotta have his father. Oh, oops. I didn't say that. Dracula.
Well, you already let the rabbit out of the hat, and I think you talked about another show. So what?
No, bring out the cannonball.
I think we talked about in this show. So
did we? Okay.
We did. It was early.
What happened was you spec'd on it after I said that he was in it, and actually your spec turned out to be correct. They are developing him as Blade's father.
Yep. And who is the actor going to be?
Wesley Snipes. So they're going
Boom.
after Wesley.
Makes perfect sense, right?
Going after Wesley.
Yeah, I mean, people would lose their minds, you know.
Oh my God! Can you imagine that? Him fighting Wesley, dude.
Yeah. You know, that would be awesome. I mean, you know, having, you know, why not? I mean, you know, they can retool the origins and, you know, bring back. I mean, because, you know, obviously they would, if they see Wesley Snipes, they're not going to be like, oh, that's Blade. You know, it's been so long. They can finally say, yo, this is actually Dracula. Or, you know, and, you know, Wesley Snipes can use the payday to pay off those taxes. So, all right. So, Dracula, Tomb of Dracula, #1, first appearance of Dracula. There's also a Tomb of Dracula magazine that if you get priced out of this one, look for that one. There's some really cool covers. It's a lot darker. I think it's black and white as well. It's a black and white magazine.
I believe it had nudity in there too, didn't it? I mean,
and they have, in that Tomb of Dracula, they also have Blade. I think Morbius appears and some of those series. Yeah, it's a really interesting thing. The magazines that Marvel was doing in the Bronze Age allowed them to do some crazier stories. Obviously, there was reprints in them, but they allowed them to kind of expand on things and do weird stories that were outside of the main 616. So there you go, man. All right. I've been high in this book ever since we first dropped it on a long-term spec list, and this book is damn near impossible to find anymore.
Really?
What do we got?
Jennifer Kale.
Kale. First appearance is Adventures into Fear 11 or just Fear 11. She is tied into Man-Thing. She's also tied into the Midnight Sun. So there's a lot of things in there. There's been a lot of smoke about Jennifer Kale. It's just a matter of time. I hope you got your copies when we first talked about this 2 years ago. I was able to find copies when I went to Comic-Con in Bakersfield for all things, and I got it for $10.
Man, you got lucky, man. I never see this book ever. I never see it.
You don't, and it's hard to find in high grade as well. It's a very all these Man-Thing books, these Adventures into Fear, they are hard to come by in a high grade. So there you go, man. Yep, Neil Adams. That's right.
I see a lot of potential Jennifer Kale. I think they're gonna really push her once she makes her debut there. There's so much that they can do with her there.
So far, all the characters we've said, you pretty much know. Maybe besides Rachel Van Helsing, and yeah, but this is a spec, right? This is a good spec. What do we got?
Deacon Frost.
Deacon Frost, who was in the original Blade films, I do believe. Well, I think he was played by Stephen Dorff, right?
I think so.
Or is it in the? Yeah, Deacon Frost was played by Stephen Dorff, one of the worst names an actor can have. Actors change their names all the time. Why would you name yourself Stephen Dorff? But anyway,
you know, right?
We all know the history of Deacon Frost. First appearance, Tomb of Dracula 11 or Tomb of Dracula 13. My God, I was horrible with graphics today, man. Like I said, I was rushed and I was pretty buzzed when I was doing these. So it is actually the Tomb of Dracula number 13 is the first appearance of Deacon Frost. So for those who've been, for those people who've been when the Blade movie first was announced, people were just like, you know what? Just get everything that is tied to Blade, anything ancillary, you know what I mean? People were looking at Morbius, maybe Wolf, but not anything supernatural, like we've been telling you, anything supernatural. Uncanny Swag, it's okay, man. This is a long-term spec list. You don't have to, we don't have to put up numbers, man. It's okay. All right. This actually, this is the book I was talking about. This is the book that so far, even Deacon Frost, even though he's a little obscure, people know who he is. But this one is one that is very interesting.
Yeah, and a little bit more interesting too as well. Once in a while, when I get a list like this, there'll be a little number next to the name, and that usually means that it's a definite go. This character is definitely going to appear. There's no no buts about it. The way the discussions have been going, the amount of research they want them to do on this character makes them believe that definitely this character will appear. This character had two numbers beside his name. It was 10-10, meaning 10 out of 10. This character is going to show up. Jamal Afari.
So you didn't tell us about that numbering. So now when we do these, we have to put a number next to it.
Yeah, well, sometimes there aren't numbers. Sometimes there are. This is a rare case where there was a number.
All right, so this is Jamal Afari. First appearance is Marvel Preview, number 3. This is another one of those cool magazines. For those that don't know, Jamal Afari is actually the guy who kind of taught Blade how to hunt vampires. So that
makes sense. He would be in the first one already.
Exactly. So I mean, it's his sifu, it's his sensei, it's his master.
Okay,
it's the one who taught him how. I mean, and you know, sadly, they never really talked about this character in all the Blade films that they did. But in Marvel, this is the guy that kind of tutored Eric Brooks, aka Blade, and taught him how to kill vampires, how to fight, and all that good stuff. So because I remember Chris Christopherson was like the main guy, but in all the Blade films that we've seen up to now, we never really saw what I guess to equivalent it to Batman Year One. We don't have a Blade Year One. All we know is just Blade just appeared. He was a badass and he started fucking shit up. But we never saw the kind of origins of Blade as a young man, because where did he learn how to fight? Where did he get all this? The only really origin we had with Blade was we saw his mom give birth, right? Mm-hmm. And that was it. But we never saw his younger years, and I think, I think this is perfect. Jamal Afari finds him as a young kid who's a half vampire and says, look, kid, this is what you need to do. This is how I'm going to help you. I mean, Chris Christopherson was kind of his guy in the chair. When I say that, his guy in the chair in the Blade movies, kind of like Microchip to Punisher or, what's her name to the Birds of Prey. But this is his guy.
Oracle,
his Oracle. This is the guy who, taught Blade what he knows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so if you ever see Denzel Washington has been cast in Blade, gee, I wonder who he is.
Denzel Washington would be perfect to play Jamal Afari. Right?
I mean, seriously. Oh my God.
If you had Denzel Washington, Mahershala Ali, and Wesley Snipes.
Oh my God, look at that cast. That sounds like a Marvel Studios cast. It really does.
I could just imagine Jamal Afari go, all right. I'm sorry. That was my really bad.
This being a magazine would be hard to find in really good shape, right? I mean,
it is impossible. It is
Marvel
impossible.
Preview as well. I mean, I've never seen those.
Yeah, I have a few of these. I have the ones with the Punisher and some other ones. Mainly, I have some of the vampire ones, but I have a ton of the. Remember the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu magazines? I have a ton of those. And
I got those too. Yeah, with Neil Adams. Yeah.
And the ones with Iron Fist as well. So, and also there's a lot of keys in there because if you think Daughters of the Dragon first appeared in
White Tiger, right?
Yep, White Tiger as well, and we already told you guys that White Tiger is coming. So.
Oh yeah.
There you go, man. So this
Do you have this? Do you have this book? This particular book?
I do not have this book, but I'm
about to go. It's gonna be hard to find. It's gotta be hard to find.
I was so busy because it's my anniversary weekend. So when you gave me the list, I was like, I'm gonna go out and buy these, and then I started looking up prices. I go, man, some of these prices are already up there. But for those of you watching, hopefully you have some of these, or maybe your LCS has them and they're not aware of them. Go in there and pillage your LCSs and see what they have and see if you can get it for cheap. But if you have some of these, maybe look at the condition and get them graded. And, you never know, man. For those who already have the books, I think it's great because then now you're like, oh, cool. You know what? Let me see what I can do with this. Let me see if I can get it graded. What kind of condition. Oh, yeah, this is a good question.
All the books on this list, if I could only get one, it would be this one. It would be, like I said, it's got a 10 out of 10. For sure, it's going to be in the franchise. But also the rarity of this in 9.8 is going to be impossible.
Yeah.
So.
My man Joshua has a question. Whatever happened to the series that's supposed to introduce Blade's daughter? Did it get shelved? Yes, it did.
Yeah, it got shelved. Yeah.
It was. They had planned to have her in a movie before the comic came out, and the comic never came out. I do believe it was San Diego Comic-Con 2017, 2016, where they were talking.
15. It was a while back.
It was a while back, and they had talked about Blade's daughter, but there wasn't even a comic yet.
Nope. And they had an ad. That little ad they had. That thing came out of it.
Yeah. So there you go, man. All right. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. Shout out to the Pressable Defects crew. Shout out to the Spine Ticks crew. Shout out to Big Lion Cat. Shout out to the Robot Comic Book Human. My man Otto holding it down with the wrench. I appreciate you, brother. We're almost done with it. Otto, tell people to hold their questions off to the end. We got 3 books left. This one should be pretty obvious. I always thought this character was cool. Who we got next?
Baron Blood.
Look at that costume.
Oh my god. Man. Wow.
Baron Blood, first appearance is the Invaders, number 7 from the Bronze Age. Back when, Namor was fighting Captain America Namor and Human Torch were fighting Baron Blood. I don't know.
Is that a Kirby cover? Those feet look like Kirby feet.
I don't know if that's Kirby.
This look like Captain America's costume there. That's Kirby lines,
If I remember, I'm trying to remember if Baron Blood was actually a vampire or not, or if he was just like one of those Morbius type cats. People in the live chat, please tell me what's going on with Baron Blood.
I think Captain America chopped his head off with a shield in a John Byrne Captain America. I think that was him that he got his head chopped off. Pretty damn cool.
Yeah, but that costume is. I don't know if they can make that on the big screen. They're gonna have to retool that costume. I'm sorry. You can't have the Wolverine head with. Do you remember when Namor had those wings? Remember when he used to have those weird kind of wings on his traps on the side? That's what it looks like to me, man. But Baron Blood, like I said, it's like if you know a Blade movie's coming, and I always tell you guys this: read the tea leaves. Everybody focuses on the main character, but look at all the characters in the comic franchise for that character and characters that they interact with frequently. And that's where you should be speccing, right? Because not everybody's going to be able to get a Tomb of Dracula number 10 right now because that book is blown up. But look at all the characters that are, like Hannibal and all the other characters we talked about. And if Blade hunts vampires, look at characters that are vampires or characters that suck blood. Right?
Yes. Yep.
It's only obvious. I mean, well, to me it is. So anytime you see that, just go out and do it. A lot of this stuff we've talked about in the past, but like we always say, things are subject to change. So when we first talked about this, they didn't know where they were going at first. Remember, this was supposed to be Hulu was going to be launching this kind of dark supernatural MCU. And then, the fallout with Jeff Loeb and Kevin Feige. Now, Kevin Feige's like, look, I'm going to take over this. I have, supernatural things with Doctor Strange. And if you didn't know, Doctor Strange has a long history with fighting vampires, specifically Dracula. There's a lot of Dracula in Doctor Strange runs, just saying. You may want to look at the first time Dracula met Dracula. I think that would be a good spec as well. I don't know what it is right off the top of my head, but I have it. So look for, Doctor Strange meets Dracula because, that's only natural. It's only natural because it's supernatural. All right. Next up is a brother we've been talking about for a while.
Brother Voodoo. I bought this 6 years ago. I had already gotten a scoop that Brother Voodoo was coming, and I bought this for like $2.
I bought Brother. Yeah, I brought Brother Voodoo as soon as I found out Jericho Drum was going to be in Doctor Strange.
Yeah, yeah, that was a big signal right there, right?
Yeah, it was only obvious. So you should know.
This book is going crazy on the prices there.
I gotta highlight this comment. I'm sorry. Baron Blood's arch nemesis is E Network's fashion police.
It's true, all of it.
My belief is that they will now call him Brother Voodoo.
No.
There is precedent in the comics where he's Dr. Voodoo. So you know, it's a play on Doctor Strange, Dr. Voodoo. You know what I mean? But Brother Voodoo, that is very, very 70s blaxploitation kind of thing. That I don't know if people would, it would play well now. In the way people are. But but Dr. Voodoo. That sounds pretty freaking cool to me, man. But anyway, let's get right to it. This is the last one, boys and girls.
Yeah, I lost you there for a second.
Yeah, this is the last one, and we've been talking about this for a long time, and I think the comic book community has been buying it up for at least a year or two now.
Yeah, I never heard of her before. Elsa Bloodstone.
Yep. First appearance, Bloodstone #1. She is the daughter of, what's his name? The original Bloodstone, which is in another Marvel Presents book, Marvel Previews book. Basically, they're monster hunters. And fits perfectly. I mean, here's my crazy spec. Elsa Bloodstone, Jennifer Kale team up as a Cagney and Lacey that goes like the supernatural version of Cagney and Lacey, right?
I'm so there, man. I'm 100% there.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So first appearance is Bloodstone #1. This book, probably since the last year or so, has really picked up. Really interesting cover for Marvel because this. I mean, if you notice the indica at the bottom. Is it indica or indica? Anyway, whatever I said. The logo is typically not there. I mean, if you just look at the upper half of this comic, you would like, well, who made this book? You know what I mean? But it's a dope cover and quite juicy as the booty, I must say. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, you got to have a team of people who fight the supernatural people, the supernatural villains.
Is that a bridge like on her booty there? Because, if you don't have glasses on, it looks like two hands reaching out to them.
Yeah, no,
I can't unsee it. I really can't unsee it.
Yeah, it's a fat ass. Oh, here we go. Here's a question already. When will we hear about Mikey's new comic?
Great segue, right? Do you have that art?
Oh, darn it! Hold on, I can though. But why don't you talk about it? And
sure.
And then I will upload the photo.
So yeah, I have a horror comic book coming out in August, independently published, of course, and trying to keep most of the book a mystery because I just wanted to have everybody be surprised when it comes out. Where it's like really, you have trailers that show too much, and I just want to show as little as I can. I've been working on this book for 2 years now. I'm the writer of the book and the creator. My artist is a Filipino artist. He designed the Voltus 5 live-action TV show in the Philippines. He's the most popular or the biggest visual designer for television in the country. And this comic book is heavily inspired by the actress Kate Valdez, who the character is modeled after. And the really cool part is that there will be a Lords of the Long Box variant cover for the first issue. It's going to pay homage to a certain cover. Again, I'm keeping it a surprise. And T-VO has known this for over a year now and kept the secret.
I've kept mum about it. I've kept mumra about it. Hold on, let me let me show. This is some of the art. What's for those? Can you give like a summary, like on the back of a book, to tell you what the book is about? What is this book about?
It's about a Filipina blogger who is interested in the supernatural and and a lot of unsolved mysteries going on in her country. She is in a bus accident where she is the only survivor. And after that accident, she discovers she has unusual abilities, and it gets her involved with all sorts of Filipino monsters and legends and everything. And there's some humor in the book, but it gets pretty dark. And this is one of the fantasy sequences in the comic um, that you're going to see. And then it gets pitch black later on.
Yeah, so look at, you see, man, that's really, look at that. She's flying a unicorn. It's got cute little butterflies, and then you get this. Yeah, that turns dark really fast. You got a kid bludgeoning some dude with a hammer. Yeah. So there you go, man. Stay tuned for it. If you guys have any questions, we got a few minutes here. We can answer some questions in the live chat. If you guys have anything, since we didn't really have a letters, this was really a letters of the long box disguised as a long-term spec list.
Yeah, exactly.
Any word? Okay, here's one. Any word on Morbius being used with all these characters? I know it gets a bit tricky with Sony. I guess they're talking about, Morbius going into the MCU.
Yeah, he will go into the MCU. In fact, he'll be part of Midnight Suns.
Really?
Yeah, Morbius will be part of Midnight Suns. The Sony Disney deal is going to get really interesting. And it's going to really expand on just Spider-Man. There's so many characters that are going to go back and forth here. So you guys are going to have a lot of books to spec on in the future.
Yeah. I think I know the answer to this one. I'll let you answer, though. Will Marvel bring back Gabriel Luna as Robbie Reyes?
No, it's not looking good.
There you go. Yeah, Bessie's off doing other things. So, but they are talking about Alejandra Jones, though, right? The
yeah. So yeah.
Here's another interesting one. Is Deathlock going to show up in the MCU?
Yes. But probably not for a couple of years. I mean, he's on their list of characters that they want to use. They're looking at him originally for a Hulu show, but it's going to cost money to get Deathlock, a proper series. So you're looking at Disney Plus treatment there, if they're going to give it the kind of budget it deserves. But Deathlock will be coming. It's going to be a while.
Yeah. Will Danny Ketch ever show up?
Yeah, but it's going to get one of those things where they're going to put Johnny Blaze out there first.
Yeah, they got to have Blaze first, and give Johnny Blaze 3 films, and then maybe pass the mantle on to Danny Ketch, or they could team up against in Hell. Is there one? Well, I always get this question. This one about Rick Jones. Are there any plans to introduce Rick Jones or reintroduce Betty Ross and Leonard Sampson? I'm assuming he means Doc Sampson.
Yeah, I haven't heard any of those three being brought up. I do have a. Hey, you know what? I can bring out the cannonball right now.
There you go, boys and girls. First cannonball of the day. You didn't think we were going to get one. Well, actually, Long-Term Spec was really all cannonballs.
Yeah, they go all the way, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
All right, this will be on the website tomorrow. You guys are getting in advance, a day in advance here. So what I'm hearing is that when the Hulk appears again, and I don't mean on the She-Hulk, I mean theatrically, when he appears again theatrically, he will not be Professor Hulk anymore. They're going to go for a different reiteration of the Hulk, a more savage one than what you saw with Professor Hulk. I mean, they're going to go all out with his anger and his power. So you're going to get.
He still have his be able to speak though. I mean, it sounds like you're talking about the Immortal Hulk.
Should I just go ahead and say it? Yeah, it's the Immortal Hulk.
There you go. We just told you guys it's Immortal Hulk. So the Immortal Hulk is like a kind of a mix of both the really crazy savage, a savage Hulk as well as Banner, but this one is very dark, and it kind of it would fit into the kind of supernatural dark stuff.
Oh yeah, I don't know which film. I mean, it is a movie that he'll appear in as the Immortal Hulk. What I do know is that this is the Hulk that will face Wolverine, and that Wolverine versus the Hulk. So,
yep.
In
Canada.
So the title I've been hearing, and I've been hearing for a while now, but I keep hearing the title is The Immortal Wolverine is the title of the first Wolverine movie, which is kind of a play on words because of they can't use the Hulk in the title of the film. So
yeah, so tell the folks what are the theatrical rights for Hulk right now? Where are they, and where are they tied up?
Yeah, there was this rumor going around that Marvel got the rights back from Universal. No, they haven't got the rights back. There's no confirmation of that whatsoever. Universal's not going to let them go, and so they have to fork up the money for it. And Disney's not going to do it because why should they? They can just put the Hulk in somebody else's movie and not pay anything.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, so Universal can't outright make a solo Hulk film, but I do believe they own the distribution rights to the Hulk.
Yeah.
So if Marvel to make a solo Hulk film, Universal will get the distribution rights to make, and so that means that that's their cash cow. Why would they let that go? You know what I mean? So and then Marvel's playing hardball, saying, okay, well, we'll just put them in Thor Ragnarok, and we'll put them in these other films because they can't outright call a movie Hulk. I guess there's all these legalese in Hollywood that during contracts that people
people ask me sometimes, well, why doesn't Universal just give it up? They're not going to use it. They're not going to give it up. Why would they?
Why would Sony give up Spider-Man, right? Unless they sold everything. It's like, exactly. That's a huge cash cow. Shout out to Kid Collector Comics for the $2 super chat. Will we see Marvel Zombies or other horror teams?
Marvel Zombies will be the villains of Midnight Suns. That's where they are going.
They already planted the seeds. You're going to see it in the What If series. So, that's a good way of introducing them. And then once you see them on the big screen, you're like, hey, I remember that What If show where they had the zombies.
Speaking of series, you saw the showrunner of Loki is saying that nothing is off the table for cameos in the Loki show. You just got to wonder. I mean, for him to say that right now, after all the disappointments with Mephisto and the fucking the Winter Soldier, that takes a lot of balls for him to say that. Like, well, we're gonna have a bunch of cameos. Like, okay, here we go again. But,
well, I think you can read in between the lines though, because he travels through time. Yeah. Obviously, there's a scene where he's actually DB Cooper. So I mean, these cameos could just be historical figures throughout time.
Well, he mentioned Marvel Comics. He says no one.
Oh, really?
Marvel, yeah, he did. He mentioned Marvel Comics. No one is off the table. So
nice.
So I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
this might be the show where you can get those cameos finally.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the WandaVision spec obviously was just crazy, right? Because it was more of a mystery, whereas opposed to Falcon Winter Soldier, it was pretty much a straightforward story. But I mean, we'll see after the first episode of Loki that airs Wednesday, right?
The thing is, look, you can put Mephisto on there, not worry about China. It's for television, so
yeah.
Just saying.
Thank you for the $2 super chat. Of course he will be. Will Doctor Strange be a member of the Midnight Suns?
Yeah, he definitely will be. Yeah,
of course he will. You need a sorcerer to fight demons, man.
Yeah,
come on now.
Yeah. He's there.
Who will be the leader of the Midnight Suns? That's a good one.
But somebody asked me in the chat if I will do a signing in the Philippines when the comic book comes out. I'm hoping to visit there next year, so keep your fingers crossed. I'll be visiting my homeland for the first time since 1987 was when I left.
Awesome. Ready for the humidity. You've been living in Seattle all this time, so
yeah, I know. Doctor Strange will be the leader of the Midnight Suns.
Yeah, so who is the villain of the Multiverse of Madness? Wow, we went right to it.
Man, whew. Apparently, it's no longer Nightmare. I heard Nightmare was the original villain of that film, but last I heard that nope, Nightmare is no longer the villain, and they really changed that movie completely. So
Yeah, there's that. I can't remember a film in recent Marvel history where there's been such a tight lid on any leaks for Into the Multiverse of Madness.
mhm.
Even Spider-Man, I was gonna say, well, yeah, but we saw set photos, right? We saw Tobey Maguire just kind of walking around everywhere and doing anything. So, here's a question I think we've answered before. Well, since if we have new viewers, any Iron Fist film?
No,
No,
not yet, But
yeah. Do you think he's gonna
it
appear in
depends
Disney
on how
Plus?
Shang-Chi does. I mean, I heard Iron Fist will be in the second one. And the plans for him are after Shang-Chi he'll show up on Disney Plus. So they're still like kind of weary about that character, because of what's his face.
Yep, Finn Jones, the curly-haired fuck. I think what they need to do is take the modern approach on the recent runs of the comic books, where they show the histories of all the different Iron Fists, right? In the TV series, we saw one. I think his name was Randall Rand.
Yeah.
I think is his name, right? The guy with the two guns. We saw a brief glimpse of that, but there is a whole history of Iron Fist, and there's a scene in Shang-Chi where the Tony Leung is fighting a gal that's wearing Shang-Chi's colors. So people are thinking maybe she is an early version of Shang-Chi. You know the scene I'm talking about. It takes place like back in historical times, but she's wearing green and yellow. So you never know, man. But here's my take is I definitely, my guess is, and this is just pure speculation on my part, is in the Shang-Chi movie, they will at least mention Kunlun.
Yes.
They have to, because it's the big elephant in the room where he's saying, well, they could just say, hey, these guys, the Iron Fist over there, and so. But I doubt like one of the Iron Fists will come and fight in that tournament that they're gonna have, because they already have their own tournament for the tournament of the 7 cities or whatever they call it, which was a great run, by the way, because it's the 7 cities of heaven, or 8 cities, one of them, and each of them have a champion, and every year they get together, and every like a millennium they get together to fight, and that's a great run. If you haven't read like the last 6-7 years of Iron Fist stories, are absolutely fantastic.
I read the Brubaker David.
Yeah, that was a great
awesome.
one. Yeah,
that was awesome. In fact, that's what they wanted to do for the Netflix show, but Netflix didn't give them the budget for it. So
yeah. Here's an interesting one, because I know we've talked about this before, that Robert Downey Jr. was going to be the voice of the voice in the head, her AI voice for Riri Williams. Any plans for Robert Downey to return as Iron Man down the road?
Last I heard was Secret Wars. He will be in Secret Wars. So that's the last I heard. I'm pretty
same
sure
version of him, or like a multiverse?
No, it's a multiverse. I believe it's a multiverse version of him. I don't really want to ruin the end game finale there.
Yeah, because that was like you had a perfect death. Why why do it? So let's see here. Any other questions? I don't know much about games, but what do you think about the Guardians of the Galaxy game? Who will be announced at E3?
No idea.
Yeah, not much.
I don't have any connections to the video game world, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I know there's a Suicide Squad game coming out, so we shall see. That's the one thing Marvel lacks, is like animated series, animated films. They really don't do them, actually. They used to a while ago, and they just stopped doing them because they focus more on the theatrical stuff. But the What If series may start off a whole new thing with animated.
The last video game I played was, it's going to shock you, the last video game I played was Super Mario.
What's wrong with that?
That's how long it's been. I mean, when it was new.
Yeah.
I haven't played a video game since. So
I think this may be too early to ask, but since he's still working on it, but who was? I highlighted the wrong one. Who will be the villain of the Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
do not know.
Yeah, that's way early. I don't even think they even, I'm pretty sure right now James Gunn is focusing everything on Suicide Squad 2, putting all his, doing everything for that as far as promotion and stuff. And who knows how far along he is on the script. I know there was a script. And, the initial one was going to be Warlock. At least starting as a villain, then perhaps becoming a hero. But, then all that stuff happened and then all that got pushed back. So I was fully expect to see like some type of version of Warlock first battle the Guardians, then, come to his senses and then realize, they're not bad people. So we shall see, man.
Well, Warlock would have to be in this one.
His name was dropped at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Unfortunately that stuff happened to him where he got canceled. Cancel culture and wokeness is just ridiculous on both sides. But
anyway. You know what? High Evolutionary will probably be the villain though, because I do know he's in it.
There you go.
The Rocket Raccoon connection is.
Yeah, and I think one of the first reports was there's the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was going to delve more into Rocket Raccoon's history, and in at least this history, Rocket Raccoon was the one that experimented on him was the High Evolutionary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that would be cool.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Here's an easy one. I'll tee this up for you. Will Hellstrom be coming to the MCU?
Yeah, he's coming, yeah. Not the version that you saw on Hulu, but...
Oh, thank God. Yeah, that actor
was like a poor man's Constantine.
Satana killed it. I love Satana.
Oh, she's great.
In Hellstrom, but my God, the
was
actor
he boring as fuck or
oh
what?
my God, he was boring as hell.
That was dirt, man. I was like, dude.
And I only watched it because we were in the middle of a pandemic. You know what I mean? Now there's tons of stuff to watch because productions have ramped back up. But it wasn't awful. If you like dark stuff, there were some kind of interesting things in it. The woman that played their mother, she was fantastic in that one.
Oh God, yeah.
And that weird raspy voice, that was not digitally added. That was her real voice. I saw it during the investors summit that they had, the Disney one that blew up the internet. Mm-hmm. She had a panel, or it may have been that really, really bad San Diego Comic-Con panel where they had all the actors of Hellstrom, and the actress that did the mother's that played the mother, she said, no, that was my voice. And then she did it right there live, during the stream. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Okay, so here we go. We'll tee this up. I know Star Wars information is they keep a tight lid on it. But what are you hearing? I'm hearing major Star Wars announcements coming in November. Any idea what those will be? That's odd in November, but anyway.
I don't know. But if I was to choose one in particular, I would say the Kevin Feige Star Wars film.
Yes,
that's the one. That's the one. Because the writer was talking about it just a few weeks ago in public, like in an interview.
So for those who don't know, the only thing that Kevin Feige loves more than Marvel Comics is Star Wars.
Yeah.
Imagine Kevin Feige doing Star Wars. And he's producing. Obviously, he's not directing. But Kevin Feige as a producer is pretty much a director. He is telling the directors, this is what we want to see and what we want to see. There was another question here. I have a question. If those that don't know, Wonder Woman made a really cryptic post on her Instagram about it's been 4 years ago today since I first did Wonder Woman. I want to thank you all for supporting blah 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 blah. It sounded like a Dear John letter, and then she left it, and then with the hashtag of Wonder Woman 3.
I know,
right? Really kind of boggled my mind that she did that. Is this, first of all, is this the last time we see Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman in Wonder Woman 3? And when is Wonder Woman 3 ever going to be made?
Yeah, that's a good question. I will tell you this. I don't think Patty Jenkins will return.
No, she's busy.
She's so busy right now, and I don't think it's going to fit on her schedule. And there's a part of well, see, the corporate structure of Warner is changing in a year's time, because you're going to have Discovery basically taking over once the merger is finally pushed through. But I don't think they're particularly happy with how Wonder Woman 84 turned out. I know Walter Hamada is, but the rest of the Warner executives, I don't think are particularly the way that people responded to it. It got some pretty bad reviews there, and the audience
it was not a good film.
And the music sucked, but that's just
there was no music. What are you talking? That's the thing.
Yeah, I know, and there's nothing there.
Why do you market your movie as it was like it's the 80s, and not play? I think there was no 80s music. It was ridiculous. It was
busy with Star Wars stuff. So.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Gal Gadot is pregnant right now. I think, she's due in, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months. Her next film up is Cleopatra with Patty Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
Right after Cleopatra, Patty Jenkins is doing Rogue Squadron, and that's due out for release in 2023. So if you do the math, either Wonder Woman 3 gets made with a different director, or if she's really like, Gal Gadot is always like, oh, Patty Jenkins is a BFF, I won't do anything without her. If she waits for Patty Jenkins, you're looking at a Wonder Woman 3 in 2024, 25.
Yeah, if they're lucky, because I don't think Star Wars is going to come out on time. I don't think it's going to come out on time. It's a Star Wars film, I mean, first of all, it's a big production.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to... We still have COVID going on right now. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We don't know how long Cleopatra is going to be done filming, too. I mean,
yeah.
We don't know if these films will finish on time. So
I mean, and Gal Gadot looks great. She's 36 years old.
She'll be 40 by the time the shooting starts. So.
She'll be 40 by the time shooting starts. So I mean, that's kind of crazy when you think about that. I mean, she looks great.
Yeah, she looks great. Yeah.
I mean, here's context for you guys if you guys didn't realize. Donnie Yen was just cast for John Wick 4. Donnie Yen is 57 years old.
Jesus.
Right? Keanu Reeves is only a year younger than him. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, well,
they're 56 and 57. But Donnie Yen has been a lifelong martial artist, so he keeps in shape. But John Wick, I mean, Keanu Reeves looks great for his age, and he's still doing those stunts. But Keanu Reeves put in the work. Go look up the videos where Keanu, it's like John Wick, Keanu Reeves. Keanu Wick was there. Look up the videos where he's actually taking jujitsu classes so he can better himself. Because if you notice in John Wick films, there's a lot of ground fighting. Eventually, he will grab somebody by the gun and take them down with some type of takedown using Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So he was actually training Brazilian jiu-jitsu in real life. Another fun fact, if you guys didn't know, that Robert Downey Jr. has been doing martial arts for about 15, 20 years.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
But he's very specific though. He practices wushu, which is, if you follow Kung Fu, wushu is is a subset of Kung Fu that was done by Ip Man. Ip Man did wushu, and that's all the things. And if you want to go down, Bruce Lee did wushu, but then he changed it to Jeet Kune Do. So Robert Downey Jr. said he's been doing wushu for a while now, and it's very evident. Not so much in Iron Man, but if you watch the Sherlock Holmes films, he does some really great fight choreography in those films. So there you go. This question keeps on being asked, so we'll just answer it. So persistence pays off, Uncanny Swag. When will Sabretooth going to be introduced?
Yeah, he is coming. Most likely in the Wolverine Hulk film is where you'll see a cameo appearance or so. I'm not sure.
Thank you for correcting me. Thank you for correcting me, Red Ranger. Yeah, he practices Wing Chun, which is different than wushu, but they all fall under the same umbrella of Kung Fu, where wushu Wing Chun was actually invented by a woman, believe it or not. Fun fact.
Oh, amazing.
Wing Chun was a kung fu style that was created by a female Shaolin monk.
That's
Google
awesome.
It's a real thing. There's actually a movie about it by the great badass Michelle Yeoh that was done in the 90s. It was a Hong Kong movie called Wing Chun, and it shows the origins of Wing Chun. Not everybody Wing Chun tonight. The Wing Chun, the style of kung fu.
Okay, I have time for one more question. Philip Armstrong, I want to answer this guy's question here.
All right, hold on. Let me find this question. Philip Armstrong. How long ago did he ask it?
618.
Oh, there it is. Pip the Troll?
Yeah, in the Eternals.
Really?
Yeah, Pip the Troll will be in the Eternals. So you've been speculating on that character? Yeah, definitely. Of
course,
nice
they've been
praise.
speculating, Mikey. You gave us the long-term spec report on this about 2 years ago. So
Yeah, but I know. Hope you guys had their copies already. So 9.8.
Yeah. Pip the Troll. If you think Warlock is coming, you need to get Pip the Troll. Pip the Troll to Warlock is Rick Jones to the Hulk.
Yeah.
That's one thing that boggles my mind is we've had how many Marvel films, and we have yet to see Rick Jones, who has been such a part of like early Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean, part of the Hulk, and then part of the Avengers. I mean, that's amazing that we have not gotten Rick Jones.
Well,
yet.
I think I know why. It's because we haven't had any solo Hulk films since that one. And if you're going to have a Hulk solo film, you got to have Rick Jones in there. But
I mean, he's part of his origin.
Yeah, exactly.
The reason why the Hulk became the Hulk is because he tried to save Rick Jones' stupid ass. Was a teenager out in the desert smoking weed or something, and then he was like, "Let me go see this." So, somebody would love to see Doc Samson. Yeah, long green flowing hair. You know what I'm saying? So we shall see. We were talking about Hulk a lot. For those who didn't see it, I mean, Mark Ruffalo was on the set of She-Hulk and his mocap suit, so it'd be cool to see that. I'm wondering how they're going to do the origin. Like, if is this his cousin or
that'll be kept in the show? Yeah, they are.
Jennifer Walters. Yeah, so I'm assuming there's he gives her some type of blood transfusion or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but if you're the Hulk and you know that you have that type of, why would you do it unless it was like life or death?
Life or death, probably what it is. Yeah,
and you have such a rare blood type, and you're the only one that can give your cousin that, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna give you this blood. I don't know what's gonna happen to you though, because I turn green, and so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, last question of the night before we take off, and because I want to know too, any updates on Nova, our favorite Dick Rider?
Still being developed. I believe his debut will be Captain Marvel. She's called the Marvels now. They're gonna see Richard Rider in there.
Really?
Yeah, they're gonna see Richard Rider in there.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like the worst kept secret in Hollywood. I mean, we already had the Nova Corps. I mean, we're gonna have we have the Skrulls. I mean, but the original thing was that like Captain Marvel, or was it Nick Fury was going to tutor Richard Rider?
Yep, still is. And that's probably what they're going to show in the Marvels, is Nick Fury training him.
Yeah, and I think that's a great name because this shows that it's. I think the era of the sequels of Marvel films where it's just the same character just doing are over. The sequels are getting bigger and bigger and on more characters and more characters. So we know for sure we're gonna get Kamala Khan. We're gonna get Monica Rambeau. We already know, Carol Danvers is spacebound and maybe some sword stuff, Nick Fury stuff. I mean, we still have the Secret Invasion show. We still have the Armor Wars show. So this gives them this is like the miniseries of the 80s from Marvel Comics. Hey, let's throw this out there on Disney Plus like a miniseries and see what happens. If people dig it, we'll put them on the big screen, right?
Yeah. Well, two years ago, I said that going forward, you're going to see more team-up films, and that's exactly what's happening now.
That's why we always tell you guys, if you can't get first appearances or first issues, the first meeting of characters is always is the next level of Spec. You know what I mean? At least to me, that's what I've been doing for the last 4 years. The first time a character meets another character, is that it? Okay, I lied. Last question, because I'm curious about this too, because this thing has been long gestating forever, and unfortunately it died because I love the girl from the AT&T commercials. What's going on with the New Warriors?
It's gonna get rebooted. You're not gonna see the same show that was whose pilot was not picked up. So.
Which was basically a sitcom, an action sitcom is basically what it was.
Yeah. But I don't know when you're going to be seeing this. I mean, they have so much on their plate right now. Let's just play it. I would say it's on a back burner for now. But it'll get rebooted.
Yeah, I mean, they got the characters there. I mean, it'd be great to see a serious version of like Night Thrasher and Darkhawk and everything.
Oh,
But when you have a character named Squirrel Girl, it has to be a comedy, right?
I know.
How serious can it be? All right. Thank you guys all for joining us, man. I got to mash out. I got to go take my lady out for dinner. It's our anniversary today. We're going to go see The Conjuring. So I really appreciate Mikey for hanging out with us. Appreciate everybody, all 150 of you that were watching.
Awesome.
We'll be back again next Sunday with Letters from the Long Box. But we'll also see you Tuesday for the Cover Price Top 10. Till next time, boys and girls, keep digging in them long boxes.
See ya.
Peace out.
Bye.
Now let's do this! Rewind, select and come again. Pull up that from the top to the very last. Jump.
Who are you to make their lives bitter in hard bondage? In this you shall know that the Lord is update. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, do it! We're here! We're back!
Let's do a job! You can't get fresher than this.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 5 greatest heroes. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
When it comes, I won't even notice.
Oh, how so?
I'll be too busy looking good.